Coming up next on Lakeland News at 10, a two-vehicle accident just south of Bemidji killed two people early today. That story is next, along with a look at a beach closing controversy in Park Rapids. And later on, we'll take a sneak preview look at the big air show taking place in Brainerd this weekend. Lakeland News at 10 is next.
The Northwest Minnesota Foundation is a charitable foundation committed to improving the quality of life for residents of Northwest Minnesota.
Your local public television station presents Lakeland News at 10. News from Bemidji, Brainerd, and all of the Lakes region. Dennis Wyman with the news, Stacy Christensen with the weather, and now Lakeland News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. A head-on crash just south of Bemidji claimed the lives of two people early this morning. Police say a car driven by Casey Neff of Bemidji crossed the center line and collided with a car driven by John Ham of Little Falls. Neff was pronounced dead at the scene of the accident. Ham died after being taken to North Country Regional Hospital. The accident occurred around 12:30 a.m. this morning on Highway 71 south of Bemidji. Four other individuals were taken to North Country Regional Hospital as a result of the accident. In Park Rapids, the Hubbard County Board closed the Heartland Park swimming beach on Fishhook Lake earlier this week. The board closed the beach because of a potential health risk posed by some private septic systems that they say are failing. But as Stacy Christensen and videographer A.J. Fossen tell us, there's more to this story than just a few beach swimmers.
Park Beach closed this week when it was determined that several septic systems belonging to homes along Dean Point were leaking directly into the water table, creating a potential health risk.
We're not really sure that there is a problem yet, AJ. We're just taking this as a precaution because we don't want to jeopardize the health of the citizens of Park Rapids.
We were worried because we were swimming in it, and we thought we were going to get sick or something after we found out what it was.
Homeowners are aware of the situation and have been waiting for Todd Township and the City of Park Rapids to reach an annexation agreement. Annexation would bring city water and sewage systems to the homes, a solution to the problem many residents support.
And there is no better way to treat our sewage than get it out of here and treat it at a city plant.
However, the township and the city have decided not to cooperate. Todd Township will resist annexation, leaving residents with little choice about how to deal with the sewer problems.
The problem is unusual for this area because it's so dense. It's like being in the city. Their well is too close to somebody's drain field, or the septic tanks are too close to the water, so they can't conform, so they cannot treat their own sewage on their own land. So they have to have some kind of a collective system.
The need for a collective system is what led residents of Dean Point to the annexation solution. And with the township resisting annexation, the homeowners have been looking at possible reasons.
I think the township is unwilling to let go because they lose some tax base. Our properties are a little higher tax than the rest of the township based on that we're on the water's edge.
And it's become really an issue about our tax money and who's going to get it, and feeling like we're really caught in the middle of some political agendas when our primary issue is water quality.
With Lakeland News, I'm Stacy Christensen.
There are 9 homes along Fishhook River that have approximately 75 days to bring their septic systems up to regulations. The beach will remain closed for an indefinite amount of time until it can be determined whether the lake is polluted or not. Well, a Big Fork man has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the stabbing death of another man during a bar fight. Douglas Cleath was sentenced in Itasca County Court to 12.5 years in prison for the death of Richard Scott Jr. Scott died about an hour after the stabbing took place at a Big Fork bar on January 31st. A Red Lake man has been sentenced to prison for involuntary manslaughter. Henry Sayers Jr. was sentenced in U.S. District Court to 1 year and 1 day in prison for the death of Brian Johnson. Johnson was killed while he was out walking this spring when he was struck by a car. Sayers admitted he hit and killed Johnson while driving under the influence of alcohol. The Chief Justice of America hit the president's top protectors between the eyes today. The result, Secret Service personnel have been forced to appear before grand jurors. And the big question is, what, if anything, did they say about Monica Lewinsky? Bob Franken has more.
The dramatic day ended unexpectedly when the president's chief agent, Larry Cockle, left without testifying, although other Secret Service colleagues did. A history-making first.
He has not testified. We stood in the hall and waited all that time and nothing happened.
But earlier there was high drama. Cockle and several uniformed officers were forced to show up as the deadline approached. Then, a few minutes before high noon, came the ruling from Chief Justice William Rehnquist, rejecting the Justice Department's last-ditch appeal that he keep them from testifying. Rehnquist bluntly saying there would be no irreparable harm if they did. Larry Cockle's lawyer, speaking on CNN's Burden of Proof, said Cockle would cooperate, but said there were certain questions that would not be answered.
Obviously, if they got into areas of either national security or of attorney-client privilege, then those issues would have to be explored with counsel, and a decision would be made as to whether those kinds of privileges would be raised or not.
But one lawyer said that's not what could be expected.
In fact, I suspect the kinds of questions that they want to ask the Secret Service agents are, did you personally observe the President and Monica Lewinsky in any kind of a compromising position? Did any other agent ever tell you that he or she observed such a thing? And finally, did you ever hear the President say anything that suggested to you that he and Ms. Lewinsky were having a sexual relationship?
Whatever happened this first day of testimony, Starr made his point loud and clear. In fact, he was so anxious to quickly break precedent and get the Secret Service testimony locked down that he had the agents and officers appear before a grand jury that wasn't even hearing the Monica Lewinsky matter. The Justice Department has vowed to keep pursuing its appeal before the entire Supreme Court. Meanwhile, the regular Monica Lewinsky grand jury resumes its work on Tuesday, and some of the Secret Service officials expect to return. It is not known whether Larry Cockle is among them.
Still to come on Lakeland News at 10, some campers near Brainerd take a trip back in time. And also later on in sports, Mark Brewer will take a look at opening ceremonies for this weekend's Big Bambino State Tournament in Bemidji.
The real lesson that we got out of Shoemaker Levy 9 hitting Jupiter is that science is not just for scientists. Music is not just for musicians. Poetry isn't just for poets. PBS has taught me the important thing is the passion.
And she was being pushed and pushed and pushed. I don't think she was eager to take that flight.
There is her own puzzling disregard for such obvious professional necessities as knowing the Morse code or how to operate a radio.
There was a lack of focus. She simply was not preparing properly for it.
It was the disappearance of Amelia that created the legend.
And now, more news with Dennis Wyman.
A Florida woman who claims she was hurt after a Northwest Airlines DC-9 slid off an icy North Dakota runway is suing the air carrier. The plane with 93 passengers aboard slid off the runway while trying to land in icy conditions in early February of '97. Lisa Stillian said she injured her back falling on ice walking from the stuck plane to the terminal. She's seeking at least $75,000 in damages. The lawsuit claims Northwest was negligent for not providing ground transportation to the terminal after the plane had skidded off the runway. The only air show in Minnesota is in Brainerd this weekend. Airfest 98 features acrobatics, parabatics, stunt flying, and more. Today, Airfest 98 held a special preview show for the media. Our videographer Brian Peterson was there, and he brings us this report.
We have a number of aerobatic performance aircraft, from the beginning of aviation with the J3 Cub, which is what they call underpowered aerobatics, to the state-of-the-art right now, which is the Sukhoi Su-29, which is flown by Bob Davis, a retired 747 pilot. We're having a very interesting static display aircraft come in. Probably one of the more interesting that we have is the Super Constellation, the Savakani, out of Kansas City. And it was a late 1950s prop aircraft that was kind of the height of luxury air travel, and they'll be giving tours. We have a DC-3 coming in. We have a P-51 Mustang, which will be flying in the show, and a T-28, and also some T-6s. And just pulling in now over your shoulder is the M4 Interspace Simulation Unit, and you can, I believe it's a F-16 fighter plane. You can take a ride in a simulated capsule, and it feels like you're flying an F-16. Airfest is going to be something totally unique for the Brainerd area. You know, when you've got the sky as your stage, you know, how can you go wrong? And we're really looking forward to seeing everybody in the area come out to the flight line on Saturday and Sunday and enjoy the show.
This is the first time the Brainerd Lakes area has ever hosted an air show of this magnitude. Gates open at 9 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday, with performances starting at 1 o'clock both days. A group of area campers are taking a trip back in time this weekend. The North Star Free Trappers are hosting their annual Black Powder Rendezvous Saturday and Sunday. Once a year, just outside of Brainerd, this group relives the 1840s. People camping this weekend will stay in teepees and baker and wall tents at a primitive campground. The festivities include a shoot muzzle loading competition, as well as tomahawk and knife throwing competitions.
A group of people from the Brainerd area up north to the Bacchus area. We've all just acquired each other's friendship through other rendezvous and decided that this area needed to have a club, and that's how we got it started.
It's just a fun weekend. It's a family event. There's kids games, women's games. They have frying pan tosses, egg tosses, various events. They have cook-off contests, a lot of different contests at these things, so there's always something going on. And it's a good time, you know, to get together with other friends. A lot of these people, the only time we see them is at the rendezvous. You don't see them all winter.
The North Star Free Trappers stress that this is a family-oriented weekend. Everyone's welcome, and primitive dress is not required. I know you were thinking about heading down there for the weekend.
I was thinking about it. I just don't have any primitive dress, I'm afraid.
Well, how is the weather shaping up for the weekend? That's the big question.
Well, it's not going to be as nice as today. The humidity is coming back, and there is a chance of some showers and thunderstorms. I'll be back with your local forecast up next.
Next time on Austin City Limits, Boz Skaggs.
Hey boy, you better bring the woman round to the sad old truth of the low town.
I want to be in Paris.
And 8.5 souvenirs.
Well, I want to be in Paris. Meet romance and meet the boys.
Be sure to watch Austin City Limits tomorrow night at 9.
And now, the weather with Stacy Christensen.
Well, once again, a gorgeous day outside there, and I hope you got out to enjoy it because it looks like the humidity is coming back and there is the possibility for some showers and thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the current conditions in Bemidji. It's fair and 72 degrees. The humidity is at 49%. The barometric pressure is at 29.99 inches and falling, and winds are from the west at 3 miles per hour. In Brainerd, it's clear and 65. The humidity is at 81%. The barometric pressure is at 30 inches and falling, and winds are calm in Brainerd. Looking at the regional temperatures, you can see it's quite nice right throughout the state, mostly 60s, a few 70s scattered in there, 70 in Roseau, 70 also in Big Fork. Park Rapids is at 71, 63 in Aiken, 72, in Little Falls. Taking a look at the national satellite, you can see that there's also some cloud cover in the northeast. I told you about this yesterday. This is what they were expecting. It has dropped quite a bit of rain in the northeast, but not exactly bad news. Boston once again reached 90 degrees, so they were looking forward to this rain. Down in the southeast, there's again showers in that area, and they're not looking forward to it. As you see, they just kind of keep sticking around right there, again dropping some heavy rainfall in that area, a little more to the west in the Midwest. There was a stationary front located here that has been energized by a jet stream running through Minnesota and Wisconsin, causing some showers to crop up over the Mississippi Valley and down in the southwest. They are receiving some showers and thunderstorms in the New Mexico, Arizona area. Unfortunately, it's not helping with the high temperatures because, as you can see, it's still quite warm in this region. Only 90 degrees over there, but again, in the desert areas near California and Arizona, 110 degrees. Again, the highs are reaching up quite far north. Boise, Idaho actually reached 100 degrees today, as well as Salt Lake City. So it's quite warm throughout the west. Texas also still experiencing very warm temperatures. Dallas reached the triple digits for the 12th day in a row, and there doesn't seem to be relief in sight. Over here you can see it's a little bit cooler in the northeast due again to these showers. A little closer to home, it's very nice in Minnesota. Last night's lows, we saw 50 in Roseau, 52 in Bemidji, 53 in Brainerd, 59 in Alexandria, 52 in Duluth. Looking at the highs, it was 75 today in Roseau, 76 in International Falls, 75 also in Bemidji, 76 in Brainerd, as well as Alexandria. Fargo actually reached 81. Now, there's not a whole lot to look at with our local radar. You can see that there were a few showers and thunderstorms, slight showers that moved out of the southeast portion, and we stayed mostly clear due to a high pressure system that's been located over the area. This area right here of some showers is going to move in and could cause a few light showers in the western portion of the state, but nothing really to worry about. However, as this high pressure system, which was located here, moves out, it's going to bring the south winds back into our state, bringing humidity and high temperatures, and it's also going to pull a warm front north, bringing us some showers and thunderstorms. Looking at the forecast for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy. There will be fewer clouds to the south, winds will be light and variable, and the high should be in the mid-50s. For tomorrow, it'll be partly cloudy for the most part. There's a chance for some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the western portion of our viewing area. It will be more humid. Winds will be from the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow night, again, there is a chance of showers and thunderstorms. These should be a bit scattered. The lows, will be in the 60s, and on Sunday, after the showers and thunderstorms do start to dissipate, they could linger on into the morning, but after that it should be partly cloudy, high in the 80s. Looking at our extended forecast, on Monday, once again, it's going to be partly cloudy. It's going to be warm and humid. The highs could actually make it up into the 90s in some areas. Lows should be in the 60s. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, there is a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the evening on Tuesday. Highs should be right around 90 and lows in the 60s. So the humidity is coming back, the heat's coming back, and we're just going to have to live with that.
Good. I was hoping you would tell us that the humidity would be coming soon. I understand the Eagle Eye Network is really filling up.
Yes, we have gotten a tremendous response from people, but if you are still interested, we do have some openings. If you're interested in joining our Eagle Eye Network, you can call us at 1-877-440-NEWS. I'll be at extension 111. We will supply you with a thermometer and rain gauge, and at your convenience, you can call us with weather information from your own backyard, and we'll feature it on our nightly weather broadcast.
Very good. Thank you very much, Stacy. Coming up next in sports, the Sultan of Sports, Mark Brewer, is here, and he has some windy highlights from the British Open.
We're under attack.
He's carrying me in half.
The enemy, our own planet.
Mudslide, fires, earthquakes. The volcano is blowing up.
Molten fury. Hell's crust.
Earthquakes come.
Deadly rumble.
Get out.
Restless planet.
Nightmare.
How can we save ourselves when the very earth is angry?
The earth giveth and the earth taketh away.
Savage Earth.
See it on channels 9 and 22, Sunday night at 8.
Next time on Nova, lightning, hot, powerful, and deadly. No one knows exactly what causes it or where it will strike next. Now, scientists race to capture the elusive lightning bolt. Lightning strikes next time on Nova.
Be sure to watch Nova Tuesday night at 7.
Enter the world of National Geographic. Hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones, big enough to be seen from space, powerful enough to destroy cities. While most people try to escape the howling winds, these researchers race to confront the massive storms. The cyclone is about to touch down, only on the world of National Geographic.
Tune in for National Geographic Tuesday night at 8.
Mark Brewer is here now with the sports, and who in the world is this guy leading the British Open?
Well, you'll
I've never heard of him.
You'll see why in just a minute when you see what these players had to deal with today. Yesterday's opening round at the British Open left nearly everyone happy. Calm winds led to efficient play, but that all changed today. Rain and high winds came back to the coast of the Irish Sea today, with play at the Royal Birkdale suspended for an hour and a half this afternoon. As the weather turned worse, so did the play of many of yesterday's leader. John Daly took a 10 on the 18th, while Tom Lehman shot a poor 74, missing the cut. Tiger Woods here can't buy a putt today, starting at 5 under going into today until the second hole here, missing the easy par. Later on number 6, again with the bogey. Looking happy, isn't he? Now only 2 under, same song, different hole, this time on the 9th. Another par opportunity shot away. Coming from nowhere today was Japanese PGA Tour player Brian Watts, the improbable leader at 3 under. And we'll take a look. Watch as he hits here on 13th. Tee shot right by the cup. Terrific shot. That's showing you why he's in first today. Let's take a look at the leaderboard as Watts at 3 under. Tiger Woods stays in the hunt there, tied with amateur Justin Rose. Nick Price there at 2 under. These are the only 5 golfers under par today. Well, the Twins are sure to be glad to leave Seattle behind today, especially after last night's horrible game. Mariners pitcher Randy Johnson no-hit the Twins into the 8th inning last night when former Mariner and mighty slugger Brent Gates, currently batting a whopping .231 for the season, dropped the only hit into play. Tonight, the Twins still on the West Coast tour, this time into Oakland. Oakland winning 4 of their last 5 and 8 of their last 12, meeting the Twins, losers of 4 straight and 6 of their last 7. Right now, it's currently 1-1, top of the 3rd. And on to the rest of the AL board. Detroit over Boston. Garciaparra, O'Leary, and Mike Benjamin each with a home run. They still lose. Now here's something here. Toronto over New York. This was supposed to be David Wells versus Roger Clemens. Wells pulls due to a bruised right big toe. How much is this guy making, for heaven's sakes? Cleveland and Chicago tied up top of the 9th. Bell with number 28 today. Texas losing to Tampa Bay, top 7. Baltimore over Anaheim. And Kansas City over Seattle early on. In the National League, here's a slugfest for you. San Diego, Rivera with a grand slam. Greg Vaughn with 2 home runs. Tony Gwynn with 2 home runs. Steve Finley with a shot. Cincinnati could not contain them. Chicago, big over Florida. Sammy Sosa, 2-run shot, number 36 for him. Pittsburgh over Montreal. Atlanta over Milwaukee. New York over Philadelphia. Nomo, 3 hits over 7 innings. The Phillies there. Houston over San Francisco. The Cardinals beat Los Angeles. Mark McGwire, number 41 and number 42 tonight, breaking the July record for home runs set by Babe Ruth and Jimmy Fox. One of those, a 511-foot shot. Arizona over Colorado early. Well, some of the elite 12-year-old baseball players in the state are in Bemidji for the weekend. It's opening ceremonies for the Bambino All-Star State Tournament. They're underway this afternoon at the Mark Evanson Complex right here in Bemidji. The tournament began as the color guards presented our nation's flag. Nine teams of 12-year-old All-Stars are competing for the state championship and the right to move on and compete at the national level. The tournament runs through Monday with game times running throughout the afternoons. The winner of this tournament heads out of state in search of the elusive national championship. Well, last night we took a quick look at fishing conditions in the Brainerd Lakes area. Tonight, Scott McMillan from Kabilka's Sporting Goods baits us with the Bemidji area forecast.
So Scott, can you tell us where the most of the action's been lately?
Basically, in most of the area lakes around lately, you're going to find your best action is going to be either northerns or bass, panfish, or muskies. Walleyes are off a little bit right now, being that time of the year where there's a lot of food out there for them, and they're just a little bit slower fishing right now. But northerns have been really good in all area lakes containing northerns. Jigging a minnow, still fishing with sucker minnows, and running deep cranks are working the best for those. Bass fishing has basically been in the slop, throwing a lot of jig and pig, a lot of plastic, some spinner baits. Panfish have been varied a little bit. The jumbo perch in the area are running about 6 feet of water on the shoreline, jigging a minnow, 16th ounce jig and a fathead minnow, I should say. And sunfish and crappies have been kind of scattered a little bit. They're anywhere from about 6 to 15 feet of water on most area lakes, and small minnows and waxworms working the best for those.
Okay, so basically a lot of the fish except for the walleyes have been biting, or some more so than others, or?
Basically everything except walleyes have been really good. Northerns, bass, panfish, trout down on Newman or Long Lake down by Itasca have also been very good. Muskies have been real active. They're catching some walleyes out there. They're a lot of about 8 to 12 feet of water. jigging a minnow, some lindy rigs and leeches, and some guys doing the night fishing have been also doing good trolling, shallow running, or crankbaits out in the dark.
And Dennis, U.S. takes 2-0 lead in Davis Cup action. Jim Courier, Andre Agassi, both victorious today.
Lake Newman used to be my secret lake back when I was in college.
Not anymore.
I think the word's out.
The
We should
word is
welcome
out.
our sports director, Reed Farron, back. He was coming back from a surgery. First day back today. Hopefully he'll be on the air in about a week or so.
We'd love to give him the desk.
Yeah. You know, I got a big toe injury coming on here. I don't know if I'll be in next week.
Unbelievable.
Well, time now for our Friday finale feature story. Not too many artists get an opportunity to paint animals like the endangered Siberian tiger. That's exactly what Bemidji's Scott Fadness has done. Fadness's work is on display at the Bemidji Community Arts Center. Kevin Van Dyke takes a closer look at his work and what's behind his work.
It was early last year that Scott Fadness first became interested in the plight of the Siberian tiger.
And in February of 1997, I read an article in National Geographic about an American and Russian team of biologists that were working in concert to save these magnificent animals.
The Siberian tiger is the largest member of the cat family. Males can grow to more than 12 feet in length and weigh as much as 750 pounds. As impressive as the tiger is, however, it is not invincible. In fact, its numbers have dwindled to around 300 left in the wild. Poachers are getting $10,000 on the black market for each Siberian tiger skin, and logging has destroyed much of the ecosystem that the tiger depends on.
Along with that logging, a lot of animals are becoming endangered, and not the least of which is the tiger. But the tiger is a pyramid species. It's an apex species. It sits at the top of the food chain. So everything down low, its prey animals, need these woods to survive and be fruitful to ensure the survival of the tiger.
With the support of the Hornecker Wildlife Institute, the Region 2 Arts Council, and the Bemidji business community, Fadness spent the month of October 1997 in the deep Russian forest. There he observed the Siberian tiger in its natural state, photographing and sketching the endangered animal. Upon his return, Fadness used the sketches to create the paintings that are currently on display at the Bemidji Community Arts Center. Fadness hopes his work will raise awareness of the threat of extinction faced by the Siberian tiger, and he has a similar goal in mind for his next project.
I'm undertaking a project involving Amur leopards, which are the most endangered cat on the face of the earth right now. The project I'm undertaking is to go and study the leopard in far eastern Russia and hopefully be able to make a difference in its conservation.
For Lakeland News at 10, I'm Kevin Van Dyke.
And that exhibit will be on display at the Arts Center through July 30th.
Well, that's great. I'll try and make it. Forecast for this weekend looks like it's going to be hot and humid, and looks like we might see some precipitation on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, don't forget, 12-year-old all-star baseball players hitting it to the Evanston field all weekend long. Good chance to go out and hit the ball game, have some fun.
Championship is on Monday, right?
Got it.
Okay, thanks Mark. Thanks Stacy. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Good night.